How are you doing, gardeners? Ed Schneider with Fresh Picked Acres of Kansas, and today I got a great video for you, and we're going to talk about polycarbonate on our greenhouse or high tunnel. If you like these types of videos, hit that like button and subscribe. It means the world to me and help us grow this channel, and we want you to come grow with us. So polycarbonate is what we put on our end walls of our high tunnel, on the top portion of it. And we put a drop-down curtain below that. But that being said, polycarbonate, the reason we chose to go with this is because of our winds here in Kansas. We know that if we put in a good investment in the beginning, we could have something for many years. And I love this polycarbonate very much. There's a big mistake we made, but let's talk about it first. With polycarbonate, you have one side that faces to the outside that offers you some UV protection, and you also have the side that you point into the high tunnel. So you don't want to get that messed up, and it tells you on each sheet. The polycarbonate, or at least the instructions to my high tunnel, actually said to set the posts every 6 feet. And I did, and I studied it, and I looked at it. And the way the posts work, you actually pound in a round post, just like your sidewall trusses. It's the same post basically, but I have in this case, I got a 2.5 inch square. Now this is you pound the round post in 6 foot centers, and then you put this over the top of that. And then we're going to use tech screws to tie that together. So basically this here goes up to the truss, giving you a nice flat surface for our high tunnel. All right. So where I went wrong, I'm not going to put dilly on this. This poly, and this is obviously a piece we've cut off already. This poly was able to be kept in the way it came, 6 foot. This is a 6 foot. However, everything would be fine if I could put it right up there, but it doesn't work exactly like that, because what we have here is we have our piece that you are going to have in front of your high tunnel. Let me move that. And you're going to slide that over the top of that. And it slides in very easy because the poly is actually tapered. I hope you guys can see that, but it's tapered. So we slide this on, and then we set it up on the wall for you to use tech screws to put that in. I made this mistake though. If you have a 6 foot center, 6 foot polycarbonate, and you set your post to 6 foot, the problem comes up is you are going to lose a 1/4 inch at least on each side. You're going to lose a 1/4 inch. So you might get away with the first one, right? You put this one will be perfect. Say you start in the middle of the house and you work your way out, so this one is going to be perfect for each side. But then we're going to lose that 1/4 inch, or we're going to extend past your post by a 1/4 inch. And then that's also saying you're going to lose just a 1/4 inch, providing everything is square. And remember this groove, I'm going to try to turn it around to you, but you have to have this sitting perfectly square inside of here. So what it comes down to is a person needs to take into account, and I wish I would have known this to begin with. I did follow the instructions. I was 6 foot center, but what happened is I had to go back and cut many of my poly so I could actually get back to my post. Do you follow what I'm saying? I slid down, and so little bit by little bit, this one here, yeah, little bit by little bit, I had to start shaving to get my 1/4 inch back. And of course, by the time you get down to the other end, God forbid, should you not be square? So the answer is going to be is just go ahead and understand that you're losing a half or quarter inch on each one of these particular things. That's something for you to check out with your own design of that greenhouse you have. But you're going to want to understand there's that quarter inch here and a quarter inch on the other end. This is center, and center I'm already, in theory, off 1/8 of an inch either side if we want to look at it that way, if we do it perfect. It's easily remedied. We just got to know also, the second thing is I'm going to pull this back up, and we're going to I'll put my ends on here. Let's put this end on. And I have, well, we're going to just go with this. So I have my end on. I have everything is fine. But like I said, I like say you don't have a door to go through or anything like that. If you start at the center of your building and work yourself to the outside, you're going to have, to me, a lot less problems. The only thing is if you do have a door, then I suggest you start at a door or an obstacle or a fan, a louver or whatever that may be. Start there, but I like the middle going out or the obstruction. Go ahead and cut that out and start there and work yourself out. I don't think you're going to want to work from one side all the way to the other side. If you have little tiny imperfections, they can become very big imperfections. Taking it from a guy who is not really prone to be a very good builder. Let's go on out and take a look at the greenhouse. I'm going to show you what we did, and it turned out beautiful. It just took us a lot of ripping on the end of some of our boards by that quarter inch and into a half an inch and that type of a thing. And yes, there was some unsquare positions out there as well. But polycarbonate, this is a 6 foot. The fact is the center, I'm probably, I'm 6 1/4 inches center, if you want to call it that. And you got to make up for that space at one location or another. That's just the way it is. You maybe get away with it on your post for the first 2 posts, but you are losing or gaining. In this case, this is actually extending out a little farther, making you miss your post. I'll grab a post here. This one ended up exactly on center, but what happens is on the other side it's going to look like this, because it's actually if this is set on 6, actually I need to be closer to 6 1/4, and then you need to have your spacing accurate on that. So let's head out to the high tunnel. Let's look at it, and we're getting a lot of rain, a lot of snow today, so hang with me. So looking at our polycarbonate from the outside, you may be wondering, why do I have a roll-up curtain in the front instead of just going all the way down? Well, here in Kansas, we can get awfully warm, dang right hot for a long period of time. And this is actually facing the south, so all the rows are going from south to north, north to south. This way the air can flow through it. That's the purpose behind it, and it works very well here in Kansas. We have a lot of wind. But as we look at our high tunnel up here, what we have is we want to build this, start this from the center, and from the building perspective. So this here is center, and then you'd want to come over here, in our case 6 1/4 inches center, and then you'd want to come over here, and I know we have a doorway here, but the point being is that without the doorway you come over another 6 1/4, and then finally you'd have your last piece. Those are things I think a person needs to take into consideration when they do it. And then of course you have still center here. You'd re-hook up to this side and work out 6 1/4 and work out 6 1/4 on this end. That's the thing I think that needs to be said about polycarbonate. Is certainly in our case, my building plan said to be on 6 foot centers, when in fact I'm losing a 1/4 inch on each side. Right, even at the beginning, right here at dead center, my panel is pushed over 1/4 inch just because of that gap that's in between the two of them. It doesn't butt up as I showed you inside of the office in there. So as I bring you into the high tunnel, it looks great. It doesn't have any major deformities. Everything is lined up nice, but the downside is we had to do a lot of cutting to get this squared up. The only difference on this high tunnel I would have liked is I would prefer in the future to make a drop down curtain here and versus a roll up. This is working okay, but I do think it's a little bit wet on this side that I think I could avoid if it wasn't. The other thing I say is that by having it lower, I could run just like this part of the high tunnel, this is my drop down right here, and it's above this portion. So that's why I wish this personally was lower, so I could also run a drop down curtain in the front off of that post. But it's okay, it all looks good. We're in good shape. The polycarbonate is a solid way to go. We just got to make sure that these posts in here are lined up, and this is sitting inside of a post more or less it's the same post as this. It's lined up in the front up here, so we just gotta if we were to do it again, I would account for that extra 1/4 inch loss. You'd begin in the middle, work your way 6 feet and a quarter. You'd still be on center, 6 feet and a quarter here, and we'd still be lined up. You understand where I'm at on that. So now everything would line up perfectly going one way, and then finally you have the corner piece, which you're going to just cut on that one, and you don't have to match it to anything per se, so that isn't such a big deal. But you wouldn't want to start here and work yourself, as an example, all the way across the high tunnel to get in there. That would be that could really spell disaster. You really want to begin in the middle, work out. Or if you have your doorway, in this case, what I did is I had the doorway, so I worked the doorway, and then I worked from this center to the door. I wanted to get that door lined up to the best of our ability to make sure that that was going to sit just as nice as it could. But always work, to me, with polycarbonate, working from the center going out was the way to go. Folks, I appreciate having you along on this nice snowy day. Please stay warm, please stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you again. And like always, hit that subscribe button and come grow with us.